can we even say any more about the New York Mets? I mean, you just have to laugh. 7 straight losses, swept twice in a row. They have lost 11 of their last 12 games. They have sunk to 5.5 games back in the National League East. Their wild card lead for that final wild card spot over the Cincinnati Reds is trimmed to just 1.5 games. I keep saying rock bottom, but I don't know if the Mets are still digging because they're hanging out with SpongeBob, Patrick, Star, all those guys, Squidward, but they may sink below them as this season goes on. 44 games to go, and Sunday was the ultimate definition of how ugly and how bad it has gotten for this Mets team, this franchise, this clubhouse. 5-0 lead, then a 6-5 lead becomes 6-6 in the 8th, and then boom, walk-off homer from Collins, 7-6, and they're swept in Milwaukee by a team that's finding every way to win. The Mets finding every way to lose. You're watching Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Live. Hit that follow button, at Jake Brown Live, on TikTok, X, Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. Subscribe to this YouTube below, at Mets Daily, and scan this code to become a Mets Daily Insider. First giveaway. I think I'm going to be giving away tickets for a Mets game, which hopefully will be fun to go to again if they can start fucking winning. If you become a member for just $5 a month. So become a member. It's $5 a month. You get a watch party, exclusive video, and giveaways each month. That's a hell of a deal. So become a part of the Mets Daily Insider family, and make sure you smash that thumbs up in this video and comment. What do you think of the Mets? Have you checked out? I tweeted and it blew up. I had like 250,000 views on the tweet about, you need to take some mental health days from watching this team. And I do this show every day, and I pride myself on delivering the best Mets content possible because I watch the games. I've interviewed all the legends. I've interviewed some of the current guys. I've been on that field. I've been every part of that stadium possible. I know people inside the stadium. And I feel for us. I feel for you, the fans. I feel for those workers because now we return home to Citi Field on Tuesday. And yes, everything is in front of them, guys. The season isn't over, so I don't want to hear that right now. I don't want to hear it because we know it's bad. We know how ugly it's gotten. But the reality is this. There's 44 games to go, and we've seen crazier things happen. And right now, as bad as they've been playing, they're still in a playoff spot, and I won't be able to say that long if they keep playing like this. But there's still a lot of time. So I don't want to hear I've checked out for the year. The season's over. I completely understand the frustration. I completely understand if you're not going to watch this week the Mets games. I get it. Because I'm getting close. Friday night, I decided not to. I went out. I enjoyed my night out in suburban New Jersey. Had a fun night. Avoided watching. Didn't have to lose sleep over the fact that I missed live that Starling Marte was not pinch run for by Tyrone Taylor, and the Mets lost the game at home plate. I didn't have to lose sleep over it. It was nice. So there are times you're like, wow, thank God I didn't watch that because I would have thrown a remote or broken a TV. And right now they're playing with a lot of broken TV, broken remote, broken phone moments. And that needs to change. What happened Sunday can't happen. They blow the lead. Edwin Diaz has to be in that game in the 8th inning. Ryan Helsley's on the second day of a back-to-back. He's at 22 pitches. There's no reason Diaz shouldn't be in for 4 outs. Helsley blows it. And then listen, Diaz has been unhittable for a majority of this season. He was overdue for that ball to be hit out of the ballpark. I mean, he has not been giving up a run at all. I believe he's gone over a month without giving up a run. He was overdue, and that was kind of the icing on the cake of a disastrous weekend, a disastrous week, and disastrous stretch. And today we get the day off. You can relax. They can't lose because they don't play, and they return home tomorrow and try to right this ship. But this ship is steering, towards the Titanic, and it's got to change. And the man up top is part of that. And I'm not someone who blames Carlos Mendoza every day for the losses. I know someone tweeted that. I'm like, do you even pay attention? He's not. But the reality is this. I say it over and over, and I don't want to sound like beating a broken drum. You can't fire players. You can call guys up. You can, try internally to change things. But this is your roster. And yes, they have to be better. No shit Sherlock. They have to be better. But the reality is the manager and the coaches do get some blame here, and they deserve some blame. Every button Carlos Mendoza is pushing is wrong. And it's blown up when you're losing, and one mistake can change the course of a game on Friday. If you go by the numbers, and you told me the other day that he wanted Tyrone Taylor starting in center field because he likes how he faces pitch shapes, then you should like that his sprint percentage is like 76% and Starling Marte's 28%. If that's the case, Tyrone Taylor on Friday night should have been pinch running for Starling Marte. He wasn't. Marte gets thrown out. Mets lose. You know, if you're talking about an overused bullpen on Sunday, then why not stop overusing Ryan Helsley and take him out with 2 outs and put Edwin Diaz in for 4 outs, who was fresh, who had not pitched over the weekend? So why not use your freshest arm? So, listen, Sunday was the day for Carlos Mendoza to get bad. And I know what, the naysayers will say, it won't make a difference. That's not his style. What's flipping a table going to do? What's flipping a table, what's not getting mad not going to do? The reality is the people who want to question firing a coach won't do anything. Flipping a table won't do anything. But what if it does? The reality is if it doesn't do anything, they're still not doing anything. They've lost 11 of 12. It doesn't make a difference anyway. So why not try and light a fire under this team? That is the argument. It should be the only argument. And I get it. That's not Mendoza's DNA. He's a robot. That's his thing. I don't think Mendoza's a bad manager. I think he has had a very bad season. And he pushed every right button last year. There was this magic pixie dust in the air with the New York Mets 2024. And it's why I and so many of you and all of us should appreciate what happened in 2024, because that was something special that does not happen every year. You saw it for a couple of months here, and now they've free fallen. The division is pretty much over, barring them sweeping the Phillies all 7 games. When they play them, their lead is, they're down to 5.5 games. So now you're trying to fight for a wild card spot and trying to just sneak into the playoffs at this point and hope for some more magic pixie dust. But, Mendoza has got to be better. I'm looking at the players first, but I'm looking at you, Carlos. You got to make better decisions. You got to be more aggressive. You got to have a guy who's struggling late out of bunt. You got to have guys steal bases. You got to try hitting runs. You got to, put the right lineups together. You got to stop shifting lineups and playing this guy and that guy one day, this guy other. There's no consistency here. It's got to change. And in my opinion, if the Mets crash out and miss the playoffs, your only option is to fire him. And I don't know if it's, a whole indictment on what he's done, but the reality is there's far too much talent, and you did far too much in terms of revamping that bullpen, getting Cedric Mullins at the trade deadline for this team to miss the playoffs. And if they do, it's on you. Barnes is gone, Chavez is gone, and I think Mendoza would be gone. So a big stretch for Carlos to keep his job here. And he's not getting fired during the season. It's not happening today. It's not happening. And I don't think it should. But I do think if they miss the playoffs, you have to go in another direction because it's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable, man. The money put into this team, the talent on this team. I get the starters aren't going deep. That's 100% got to change. But in the end, the manager gets the blame when a team free falls like the Mets are. So you got time. It's all there in front of you. 44 games to go. Some positive news, though, in Mets land. Some promotions. Now, it's not Sproat and McClain yet, although maybe this move means they're coming any day now, and I hope they are, with the Mets returning home, 6-game homestand. Pete Alonso's next homer will break the record, which, by the way, couldn't care less about that record right now. And it's just not that important right now. The Mets can't win a game. Until the Mets win a game here, go on a little streak, I couldn't care less about if Alonso breaks the record, because eventually Soto's probably going to break that record if he's here all 15 years. So, yes, it's cool for him. I guess it's cool for the franchise, but I want to win. I want to win. I care a lot less about maybe coming to Citi Field this weekend. I don't know if I am now, because how frustrating they are. And I'm not a bandwagoner. I'm here every day. I watch every game. I've been to 1,000 games. But it's hard to show up for that product when it looks as bad as it is, when it should be better. Jonah Tong, Jet Williams, Ryan Clifford, Carson Bench, they're coming on up to New York, upstate New York. From Binghamton to Syracuse. I guess not that, a little bit further upstate. Going to Syracuse, Jonah Tong, who is the Mets' top pitching prospect. Jet Williams, who is the Mets' #1 prospect. Ryan Clifford, who is a top 10 Mets prospect, and Carson Benj, who is a top 5 Mets prospect. You have 4 top 10 Mets prospects coming to Syracuse, one step closer to the big leagues. And like I talked about last week, there's a lot of hope for the future. We talked about the guys in AA. Well, those guys in AA I mentioned are all going to AAA. So maybe we see 1 or 2 of these guys in September. We'll see. But if not, I think all 4 of those guys are on the radar to potentially make their big league debut in 2026. And, Jonah Tong being part of the rotation. Don't forget, the Mets have another piece in Christian Scott, who's going to be back next season, who was once the Mets' top pitching prospect. So you got Christian Scott, Jonah Tong, Brandon Sprout, Noel McLean, Jet Williams, Ryan Clifford, Carson Benj, and A.J. Ewing has been promoted to AA, so he moves one step closer. A lot of good things are happening in this organization and farm system that, give you reason to believe now, probably more for 2026. So there are some positives, despite everything that's gone to shit in Mets land. This is huge news. Tong pitched another gem. He's got a 1.6 ERA this year. Maybe you see him make a few starts, but maybe this also means we get Sproat, like we've talked about, probably after August 15th, so they maintain rookie status for Rookie of the Year potentially next year. I hope it's tomorrow. I hope we see them at Citi Field Tuesday, but I think they're on the edge now with Tong making the trip and these guys making the trip up. But really good news and glad to see these guys getting the next level up. Smash that thumbs up if you're happy about it. Let us know in the comments. Is that the right move? What do you think about Mendoza's future? Have you quit? Are you still believing? Let's go Mets. You got to believe. We'll be here tomorrow right here on Mets Daily. I'm Jake Brown at Jake Brown Live at Mets Daily Show on Twitter. Hit that follow, subscribe, smash that thumbs up, become a Mets Daily Insider by scanning that code for $5 a month. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on Tuesday, August 12th, right here on Mets Daily.